Hi, I'm Daniel, and what just happened? So, while I was recording the Blake Griffin video that will probably post around the same time, I found out that there was more breaking news. Paul George of the Indiana Pacers has been traded to the Oklahoma City Thunder for Domantas Sabonis, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, and Victor Oladipo, which is kind of like a homecoming for Oladipo because he played at Indiana University. I know Bloomington's not Indianapolis, but I'm just saying it's like a homecoming. Anyway, that's the point. So, first, I have to make a caveat. There are two parts of this trade that you have to look at. The first part is Paul George goes to LA after this season. And the second part is Paul George stays with Oklahoma City after this season. I will start with the second one because it's much less likely. If he does, this is a dynamite deal. They just acquired a franchise player, a guy that the Atlanta Hawks offered 4 draft picks, first rounders for last year. And so that's really impressive. And again, Paul George is not the type of player that gets traded very often in a direct trade, meaning not like a signing trade in free agency, but a direct trade for other players or draft picks. He's much better, not much better, but better than Jimmy Butler, for example. He's really probably one of the top 5, definitely one of the top 10 players, maybe in the world, definitely in the NBA. I don't know a lot about world basketball. So that's one way to look at it. Then the caveat would be if he signs with the Lakers, which apparently he said he's going to do. I still like the trade for the Thunder, honestly, because Russell Westbrook will also be a free agent after this year. And so they're going for it one more time. And they couldn't get Kevin Durant back, but they got a pretty good replacement for a second good player. And the thing about Paul George is he's very good on the defensive end as well. And so he's not going to take away from Russell Westbrook's offensive ability. You also still have Steven Adams on your team, which I love Steven Adams. I think he's a really good player. So you have him too. And so you have kind of a big 3 with those guys. I still think they need to pick up some more free agents. I know they have a few other good players. I believe Cameron Payne being one of them. And I like that they didn't have to trade any draft picks, because they're going to need to rebuild if Russell Westbrook and Paul George both leave. Talk about a hard day, though. I had said it'd be cool if Blake Griffin went to Oklahoma City. He didn't, but if you had Blake Griffin, Paul George, and Russell Westbrook, and Steven Adams, that'd be pretty cool. Now let's look at the Pacers' point of view. I like this. I heard a lot of extreme things for the trade, but here was my thought. They had to get a better deal than what the Lakers offered. Otherwise, this was a bust, to me. The Lakers offered, I believe, Julius Randle or Jordan Clarkson, along with the 27th and 28th, or according to other sources, the 27th or 28th pick. They got Domantas Sabonis, who has not played much, but he's very good. He's from Gonzaga. The thing with Sabonis is he can make an immediate impact. He's not an upside player. I mean, of course, everyone has upside to an extent, but he's not like the huge upside type of guy, but he's still very talented. And then on the other one, Victor Oladipo is almost the opposite. He has the world of potential. He was the number 2 overall pick by the Magic. When the Magic wanted Serge Ibaka, who was a very good player, they gave up Oladipo. I also believe that Sabonis was part of that deal as well, now that I think of it, so that's interesting. And the thing is, they're building a young team. I'm a huge Pittsburgh Pirates fan in baseball. And when you have a small market team, you have to know when to go for it. Oklahoma City is doing just that, going for it now with Paul George. And Indianapolis is doing the opposite. They realize their days of competing with the Heat and the Cavaliers are over. And so they're building around Miles Turner, and now have a guard in Victor Oladipo who can be the face of their backcourt with Miles Turner in the front court. And you have some other nice players. You have Thaddeus Young, I believe, is still there. And you drafted a guy from UCLA, the center. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, I apologize. But he has a big potential. So you have 3 young front court players in him and Miles Turner and Domantas Sabonis. So I like this trade for both sides. Again, Paul George made it clear apparently that he will go to LA after this year. But the Thunder are trying to have one more run. Take that one last shot. And they realize to do that, they have to be able to beat the Spurs, the Rockets, and definitely the Warriors. And so they knew they needed a game changer. And Paul George is just that. As for other teams, I think, as I said, I would have really liked the Rockets to get Paul George. I think that would have worked, but obviously didn't happen. The Minnesota Timberwolves, there were rumors they were interested. Obviously, the Lakers are interested, but they weren't going to give up much, because if he says, I'm coming to LA, why would you give up much when you know you can get him? Again, there could be something that happens, and Paul George decides to stay in Oklahoma City or go somewhere else. But the fact is, in my opinion, the Thunder gave up a reasonable amount for a superstar player who they will have for probably 1 year. I am Daniel, and what just happened?